Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. And this video I wasn't really planning on doing, however this never crossed my mind that this is something that needs to be changed in the car until recent events. So just quickly to paint the picture, basically took the car to work, was absolutely fine, pushed it a bit, no issues whatsoever. Came back home, then went to my cousin's house to show them the car, and again I had no issues whatsoever. I went for a long drive with him too, and the car was again performing, reacting, behaving perfectly, no issues or concerns whatsoever. However, I came home, I parked the car on my driveway. Now my driveway is slanted, so here's the main road, there's my drive, my house is down here, so the main road is there, my house is here, driveway in between. Of course my 124 is already parked on the driveway. I've then brought my E36 along, parked it there, came inside. I'm just chilling inside. This is the first time both cars have been on my driveway together, so for me that was quite a thing, right, being a car guy. So I was like, oh, let me just check on the Ring doorbell to see how the cars are looking, planning on taking a screenshot, but straight away my eyes were drawn to the big wet puddle under the E36. So this got me a bit shook. I was like, what's this? So went outside, obviously tapped the floor, smelt it. First of all, no black on my hand, so it wasn't engine oil. I thought it was water, and I thought, you know what, something's clearly leaking, or the water's come from somewhere. So let me, bring it back into my garden just in case. I'll park it up and I'll investigate, at a later stage. Parked the car up, got out the car, locked it. Car walked away from it, about to walk into my house from the back door. All I hear is tss coming out, and here's a video to show you basically what I witnessed. Just coolant just leaking like there's no tomorrow. So there's two things that could have happened from what I understand. Either the pipe has perished, the coolant was low, however I didn't get a signal on my little reader that caused some sort of pressure and caused the pipe basically just to disconnect a bit. I don't know, I'm just assuming. Like I said, I'm no mechanic, I'm just giving this a shot, trying to see whether I can fix the car or not, and just tackling each things day by day, one by one. So the plan for today is obviously to get the front bumper off, to get other bits and bobs that might be off in the way, and to have a look at the pipe and the whole radiator coolant system to see where the issue has occurred. So first things to check is I'm going to check the coolant to see how much liquid is left in there. I feel like quite a lot has come out of it based on the video that I obviously had shown you and how much was spilling out. Once we've checked that, we'll then get the front bumper off and actually start investigating, diagnosing what the issue is. Well, attempting to diagnose. Like I said, I have no background in mechanics, I'm no mechanic whatsoever. Yeah, that's the thing we're going to tackle today, and then we'll take it from there, because I'm sure something else will come along too. Yeah, fun times. So the car's parked up, it's got no MOT currently. The whole point of was getting the interior done was so I can rush off and get an MOT done. Even that's not been done. So anyways, let's crack on with this bumper taken off and then have a look at the pipe. So the first thing to do is obviously take off these plastic trims, which will of course reveal bolts which will need to be unscrewed. So after taking the trims off, you can see you've got a bolt there, and two more bolts on the other side. I don't think it was necessary for me to take the middle one off. However, I have taken it off now, so I'm going to have to obviously redo the number plate situation, but we'll figure that out another time. So now the bumper should be free basically. Let's have a look. Doing some more research quickly. Apparently there's 2 more bolts just under that bit and a bit more further back there. Same on the other side. So we're going to get the car jacked up so we can have a look underneath and then do it that way. Car is now on jack stands. Some might say this is a bit excessive, but I've done it this way so it can stay on the jack stands once I'm done for today, and then in the future when I want to tackle something else, it's already jacked up and it's ready to go. So I'm under the front bumper because my bumper won't come off. It's got some dodgy screws in here and in there, which is basically keeping it together and not letting me basically take it apart. I've managed to take the tray off, the plastic tray which is on this side. Had a bolt there and a bolt just in that plastic bit there, but unfortunately on this side the bolt's still there, but the plastic around it has perished and basically snapped. There's so many webs in here as well. This is the coolant system here, and this is obviously the nozzle to take out whatever liquid is currently in there. I've checked from the top. Let me show you guys quickly. And before I show you that, let me show you the plastic. Got a hole there for the screws, which I've now taken off. But this side is obviously just non-existent. This is obviously the coolant tank. If I open this up, and as you can see, it's empty. There's not a liquid in there at all. First thing to do, I'm going to try loosening that little bolt and see if any liquid comes out. If so, drain the remainder that's in there and then start topping it up again with fresh liquid. Got a bucket here. This bit here should obviously let the coolant out. Now, as I've mentioned before, I believe the coolant is empty, but just to double check that there isn't anything in here, I'm just going to open this up and see if any coolant does come out of it. Probably need a smaller screwdriver. This one's far too long, but actually there we go. We'll just do the job now. Let's see if I can get this open. Okay, so using the right screw would help, so I need a Phillips. On, accelerate. Keep going. After locating the leak in the coolant expansion tank, the delivery's finally come. There was a bit of an issue. I put the order in, bank holiday came in, it was supposed to be delivered between Friday and Monday. It's now Wednesday, but it's here. What we ordered, so yeah, just basically the coolant tank. So if I basically hold this up as if it was in the car, there's a fine line crack just about there in the one that's already in the car, which is obviously spitting out the coolant, and that's how it's coming. It's running down here and then running all on over the floor, and of course pressure builds up here, and that's what basically makes it squirt out, even though the coolant is about at that much currently. Right, let's go and get this basically fitted. It's been the bane of my life, this one item has. I thought I got scammed, but we got the piece. As the coolant expansion tank which I brought was incorrect, I'm now going to take the whole radiator out and see if I can actually take this piece apart, and then obviously I can find out what the actual shape of that is and then try finding another one online. So at the moment I've taken these clips off. Obviously you pull them up with the screwdriver, shove that in there, pull it up, push that back, same on the other side, and then that releases the radiator. I need to get the pipes off from up here, one down there, and then hopefully that should set the whole radiator part of it free. I can pull it out and then figure out how to get this bottle out. And as you can see, there's the little hole where the leak's coming from. Filter looks relatively new actually, so I won't need a service. I might do an oil change only on it when the time does come. Let's figure out how this comes off. Okay, right, so that's the air filter housing out. The reason for taking that out, I've got all this space here to access all the other coolant pipes. So now I can start loosening this one down here, because before the box was there and I could not reach that, so that should loosen that up. So if I pull this pipe out, can I? No, I'm gonna have to get new pipes. Actually, let me get the sensor off first. Okay, so that's one, and there comes out all the coolant. I'm just going to let that drain out even more because I can still hear it spilling a bit. Right, so they've got these plastic rivets basically to hold the radiator on to, I don't know, the fan. And the best way to get these out is I use something like this to pry it from the back, which basically made it stick out. And then to get the final bit out, I use this tool, put it in there, give it a leverage, pushes it out, and then just give it a little pull, wiggle, and it came out. Anyways, now hopefully the radiator should be able to come out and I can get a better idea what's going on with here. So that basically separates the fan from the radiator. Let's see if this now comes off. This is the radiator, which seems to be working absolutely perfectly fine, but the issue is this bottle here. There seems to be a leak coming out. Just to figure out where the where the leak is coming from, watch this. I'm gonna, obviously I've got the water hose going in from there, I've got water coming out of that side, and I've got water coming up from the bottom side. So if I block those two holes, watch how the water sprays out from the side of the bottle, and then basically that basically shows us where the leak's coming from. So yeah, as you saw, the leak is basically coming out from this little joint in here. So now that we know that this is for sure the issue, is this seam in here. Whoop, is this seam in here. It's a minute crack which the eye can't actually see, because I was a bit confused when I first took it out. I thought I was seeing something else, and there was probably no need for me to take this out. But when I did the whole water testing, as you saw there, a bit of a botched job, but it did basically verified what I thought was happening. Yeah, the issue is within this. I'm trying to figure out how to get this bottle off. If not, I'm thinking I might just replace the whole unit itself. They're only about 140 quid, 150 quid, whereas the bottle alone is 30 quid. If I can't figure that out, then I think I'm just going to get a whole new unit. This has decided to mess up too, so I can't get that off anyway, so I'll order a new one of those, maybe get a brass version rather than this plastic rubbery version, because yeah, as you can see, they're prone to just getting damaged and then basically just staying stuck shut. And of course, when you do take off the whole cooling system and the pipes, etc., like I have done today, the whole system needs to be bled, and this is a very key component to make sure that all the bubbles come out. I'm gonna see how much a new unit is. I'm gonna try taking this off. If not, I'll just get the whole unit. I mean, it looks pretty wrecked anyway, looking at it. I mean, I don't know, is this bad, is this not bad? Let me know in the comments, because I don't really know what I'm looking at. I just know that I'm looking at some sort of radiator thing. I mean, obviously the prongs there are quite damaged, that one there's been quite severely hit, same here. So I think having a new one, it will be no harm. At least I know that is a fresh system. So I'm going to give it another shot, try getting this off. If not, then Either I'll see you in a couple of seconds or I'll see you another day once I've basically ordered the part. I actually get the bottle off, which is of course sat there. So how do you get this off? So as you can see, there's obviously a rubber grommet there as well as down there, and this is quite tightly secured in. So what you have to do is you need pliers, a screwdriver and 2 people. When I first went at it, I decided to come from a different angle to put the screwdriver in here and tilt it, but what that done is that damaged the plastic there, so I suggest you don't do that. Come from this side. I mean, it's a bit damaged, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So I put it in there, pry it, keep prying it until this bit gets loose. Once it pops out of there, it pops out of that side pretty easily and quite straightforward. So instead of spending 100 and whatever quid I was going to say to get this whole unit replaced, I can now just spend £30 on eBay or £25, whatever it is. But it's between 20 and 30 quid. Get a new bottle ordered, put it back in, and then reconnect the whole system and bleed it. So I'm going to order that, and then we'll resume once that has arrived. And this time it should be the right one. I should have taken this out before. I don't know why I thought. I actually saw this on eBay and I thought it can't possibly be this shaped bottle. So I ignored this one and went for the one that I saw on YouTube, but realised that that is for the bottle which I had ordered was for another model. Yeah, let's get this ordered now. Right, so it's about a week later now. So last time what happened was we managed to get this off finally. I'll need to keep this because this will go onto the new bottle which I've got. I've ordered the correct part. The funniest thing was that this is the part that I originally saw online, but I thought it would be the wrong one because I didn't understand how it was flat, but then this little bit here kind of threw me off a bit. Now that we've got a like for like, this should be a straightforward swap. We should be back on the road soon. But as well as that, whilst of course taking off the bleeding screw, I've managed to basically ruin it a bit, so that's going to need taking off somehow. But in the meantime, what I've done is, whilst ordering that, I've also purchased one of these bleeding screws too, so we're all set to go. And so back to get up and running. So the first thing we should do is obviously get this bottle back on. It won't go that way, it will go this way. So we need to get the rubber seals in there firmly. So let's just push, apply pressure, I guess. I'm gonna have to probably mallet it down a bit. Let's do it on concrete. Might allow me to actually, will this give me leverage? So you can see it doesn't want to go into the seal bit there, still a bit of a gap. Same with up there. So it's going to go old school, mate. That should be in. It's going to give it a few more for good luck. And also just bang it up here just to get it more down. You want a tight seal. I think that should be. Oh, it's still leaking. I think that should be all good, and that's a bit more further down now, right into there. So now I can't take that off with my hand power, so let's get this now fitted back into the car. Actually, let's get this off first. I don't know how I'm going to get that screw off, but let's give it a go. Proper rounded off this. Let's see if I can do the old school way. There we go. Up once more, and once more, maybe a few times actually. Yes, so that's now come off. This is obviously the old one, just about managed to get this one off. So as you can see, it's quite short compared to the new one. But I mean, it'll do the same job. It's a bit more thicker as well. Hopefully that shouldn't be a problem. If not, I'll just put this one back on the way I took it off, and then we'll go from there, because also I need to bleed the system before I connect the whole system. Well, once the whole system is connected, I need to bleed it. Let's get the radiator back into the car. The real challenge now is just remembering where everything goes. It's going to be a bit of a tough one. It's been it's been about a week and a bit since being out here, and everything was just dumped into the footwell of the driver's side. Let's get the radiator over and see if we can remember where everything went. It was this way, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Because the bottle was on the right hand side. Okay. So that's where that should be sat. Okay. And that is, yeah, that should be sat there. Okay, before we do anything else, we need to figure out how the plastic goes on. And the plastic being this thing. So we've got 2 holes up here, so these should be facing up towards this side, I believe. What does that look like? And this, of course, sits in these hooks here, like this one. Almost forgot to put the sensor back in. Gosh, what am I doing? So that just slips in like so. Just twist it. Can't see a rubber grommet on that anyway. Yes, let's just get that in. Like so. So the radiators clip back in with the bump stops where they need to be. It's going to give it one little bit of whack, and that's where it should be. This, we can take this off for now. There we go. So that goes in like so. Shouldn't have a problem with it. Yeah. Even though it's shorter, because it's got that rubber thing around it, the red one keeps it in place. So happy with that. That's a job good. I'm going to keep this one just in case though, I don't want to chuck anything away. So the next step is to get all these pipes attached back up again. So let's get that on there, make sure that's on firmly. I've got one down here. Let me take the glove off again. Don't do it too much because these can be brittle, so you don't want it to break. So okay, I'm happy with that. So just put this sensor back on. And it just clips in here in the right way. Yeah, because the little groove is on top. The new bottle's on with the old cap. As you can see, fresh new bottle. Got the bleed screw on. Had to connect this pipe, this sensor, and that pipe back on. I'm going to get underneath the car now and put the other sensor back on before we start filling that up. I also need to put the air box back on, so let's crack on with that before we start the car. So this little bit up there is to do with, let's figure out where these go. That's clipped on. This one, I don't know where this one goes in. Kind of forgotten. I've just connected this up, so we're happy with that. I don't remember where this goes. So I just remembered that is actually to do with the fog lights. So that white plug bit goes into that section just there. Of course, put the O-ring back on, so that keeps it firmly in place. Right, so this needs to go in here first. There we go. So that stays in place with these nuts. And then of course the air filter. No, it's the other way. Just make sure the clips are in properly, and then we're good to go. Now we can start filling up the car with some coolant. Let's get this screw off, this new shiny screw. Let's get this cap open. I'm going to leave this bit off as well because I don't think it's that important. Might fill it up right to the top, and then hopefully once I turn it over it should suck it all in, well, a fair bit, hopefully, fingers crossed. Right, I don't think it's going to drop, so I'm going to fill up a bit more to the top, then I'm going to shut the cap off, and then we're going to keep going. Okay, it's actually falling now that I've actually put more in it. Yeah, now it's starting to go down. So the more I fill up I'm always going down. I don't want to fill up too much. Yeah, I can hear it going through the system while trying to. Right, so I just disappeared for about 10-15 minutes or so, and I can see that the levels of the coolant has gone down. So I'm just going to continue filling this up then with a bit more, and then we'll get the car started. Yeah, it's creating a suction, it's going down, which is basically what we want. And as I mentioned, as I've been filling it up, there aren't any wet spots on the floor other than that, which is obviously from where I've been spilled it a bit. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's go and get the car started. And yeah, wish me luck. Right, so the trick to this is, let's get the car turned over, boiling. Turn it all the way up and start the car, and let's just hope that once it gets to temperature holds it. Now let's see if there's any leaks. So ideally what we want to do is get all the bubbles out once it starts overheating. So let's just shut this for now, and then we'll loosen it once it's obviously warmed up a bit. Right, boys and girls, the car's been running for about 10 minutes. There's no leaks from the bottom. The temperature's where it should be, so I'm just going to bleed this quickly to get any air bubbles out if necessary. I think we're good. So there's no obviously bubbles coming out. The gas just came out. I think and obviously the coolant level is slightly higher than where it should be. So that's tight. That's tight. Because that is tight now. If you have a quick look underneath the car, there's no spills. So it looks like that's a job well done. And then if we quickly come on the inside of the car, you can see the temperature is where it should be, which is halfway. My battery's about to die on the light. It's halfway in between the blue and the red. So yeah, I think it's done. The coolant's staying slightly above the recommended line, so I'm happy there, staying where it should be. The car is heated. I've accelerated a few times because if you remember last time when I was accelerating, that's what was causing the pressure and causing the coolant to leak out. So far so good. I'm going to leave it running for another 10 minutes, make sure everything's okay. I mean, it looks okay. No leaks coming from anywhere. Once again guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and keep following the journey as a no-man mechanic tries to basically deal with this car. Finally can be back on road. Right, boys and girls, so even after spending hours on changing this little coolant tank here, or the expansion tank, fitting everything back together, I took it for a drive. And yeah, this whole coolant system down here is unfortunately leaking. So where this little gap here is where the bottle meets the actual radiator, that's leaking, and the sensor below it, which is screwed from the bottom side into the actual expansion tank, is also somehow leaking. I've tightened that various times. I think it's just basically a faulty screw in it, but what I don't seem to understand is why this coolant tank is leaking, because it seems to be the right one. Maybe simply because of the way that I fitted it. I made sure that I've obviously applied a lot of force, so this bit connects to the actual radiator, but I don't know, there seems to be a leak even though there's two rubber seals there. I don't know how it's leaking, but unfortunately this is yeah, way past what I can do. You can see there's I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a lot of coolant. So yeah, I give up. I'm gonna hand this into a specialist. I'm gonna get the coolant sorted out, I'm gonna get the clutch sorted out, we'll take it from there. over and out. So the car's basically going in for the clutch and stuff to get done now. While it's going to be there, I'm going to get a full service done, as well as the brake pads and disc, but also get the coolant looked at, because ever since trying to do it, I haven't been basically successful. I've also sold the W124 Mercedes, so this is my one and only car, and I need to be back on road ASAP. Obviously, I've been off the road for the last 6 weeks now. I've been obviously trying to spend time trying to fix this, but it's got to a state now where I need, obviously I've got things going on in my personal life that I need a car for, and I can't keep borrowing cars, and I don't have access to another car, so this will have to do. As you can see, there is a bit of a river flowing on my street, but yeah, so hopefully the recovery truck will be here soon to pick this up, and then we'll take it to the garage to get basically looked into, and I believe it'll be there for the next day or two, but let's see. Hopefully it's a quick turnaround. So the journey continues to the mechanics, and hopefully we can get this car back on the road soon, because I am fed up of not having a car and being able to do whatever the f I want to do. Car's a big part of my life, man. Big part.